I believe that movement and mindfulness are two of the foundations of wellness. Thank you for letting me be a part of your wellness journey. Hello, I am Kelly. I've got my dog Zoe here with us today. And today we've got a mini practice for you that will work a bit on tension we might be storing in our upper and lower backs. I would love if you have a yoga block, if you can run and grab it. If you don't have a yoga block, if you have yoga blankets, or if you have bath towels or beach towels, which I'm guessing you do, grab 2 or 3 of them. And then when you come back with them, we'll fold up the towels or blankets that we've got, fairly skinny but long blanket or towel, and then we'll stack a couple. So we've got a stack that's maybe 5 or 6 inches. We don't have to be super precise. We've got a little bit of a stack, or we've got our yoga block. Cool. Once we have those things, we can set them aside for just a moment. We'll use one of those things soon. You don't need both, but just one. And we are going to come to lie on our backs. We'll have our feet about hip width apart. We'll lie down. We can start with our palms resting face up, arms by our sides. We might wiggle shoulder blades under. We might tuck our chin in. We'll take a moment just to arrive on our mats so we can drop our awareness into our bodies. Just noticing how we have arrived today. And then let's bring our awareness to our breath. And if it is comfortable for us, we'll work towards lengthening the inhales and the exhales. So on our inhales, trying to have full expansive breath that expands both the stomach and the rib cage. And on the exhale, softening all of that back down. Let's take 2 more big full rounds of breath here, inhaling fully. Exhaling slowly. Let's take once more, inhaling fully. Maybe if it's comfortable, exhaling through the mouth with a big sigh. And then from here, we're going to add a little bit of breath, a little bit of movement with our breath. We already added the breath. So let's hug the right knee in towards the right armpit. If it's comfortable, we can extend the left leg. If it's not, we can keep it bent with that foot planted. And then we'll move the right knee in circles. Let's go clockwise to begin with, just small circles, getting a little movement into that right hip. And then we'll reverse our directions. And then we'll catch that leg behind the thigh, so interlacing our fingers on that right hamstring. We'll get a big bend in that right ankle, the right knee, the hips. So we've just tucked everything in on that right side. And on the next inhale, we'll straighten everything on the right side, so toes reaching up towards the sky. On the exhale, bending that ankle, the knee and the hip, hugging the knee back in. Again, inhaling right toes straight up to the sky, stretching everything up. And exhaling it back in. We'll inhale once more to the sky, reaching through those toes, and we're going to pause here. Here we can, if we have extra range of motion, we can encourage that right thigh a little closer towards the chest. We just want gentle sensations, nothing tugging or ripping. So you can take a few slow breaths here. While we're here, we might think about bringing that right outer hip a little closer towards the front of the mat if we can feel it hugging up towards the armpit. So we've got length through that right side body. All right, and then we'll let that hamstring stretch go. That leg will still be extended towards the thigh. Maybe we soften towards the sky. Maybe we soften the right knee if we want to. And then let's draw some big circles in one direction with the right toe. So movement coming from the ankle, the leg. The rest of the leg is stationary. And then we'll reverse our directions. And then we'll gently lower this right leg down onto the ground. Let's pause for a moment, just checking in side to side. We might notice that right leg is now sinking heavier on your mat. You might feel more surface area contact of that leg with the ground, etc. So we'll take all of that second side. So starting by hugging left knee in towards left armpit. Right leg could be straight or that knee could be bent and the right foot might be planted. And then we'll take some circles. Let's go counterclockwise to start with that left knee, getting some easy movement into the hip, only moving as much as feels good in your body. And then we'll reverse directions. And then we'll catch behind the left thigh, interlacing our fingers. We'll get a good bend in the ankle, the knee, and the hip on the left side. And on our next inhale, left toes will reach straight up towards the sky. Next exhale, bending the ankle, the knee, and the hip, hugging knee back in. Inhaling, toes reaching up towards the sky. Exhaling, hugging everything in. One last time. And then inhaling, toes back up to the sky. And then again, if we have a little more range of motion in that left hamstring, we can encourage that left thigh a little closer towards the chest. While we're doing that, we'll think about lengthening through left side body, so sending left outer hip closer towards the front of the mat, so farther away from that left armpit. And then here we'll draw big circles with left big toes, softening the hamstring stretch, taking circles in one direction. And then reversing direction. And then gently floating that left leg back onto the ground. And checking in side to side. Hopefully our legs feel a little more symmetrical. From here, we'll grab either our block or our stack of towels, blankets, whatever we're working with today. We'll bend both knees, planting both feet. We'll plant into the feet to lift the hips, and we'll slide the block under. We can take either the low setting or the medium setting. The high is really too high for what we're about to do, or we're just gonna slide our towel stack under our hips in the same place. So we want our sacrum, that triangular bony spot in the back of your pelvis, resting on your block. So your hips feel supported here in space. From here, we are gonna pick our right leg up just so that that right knee is towards the sky. We've got our right angle in the knee and the hip. Then we're gonna take the right hand and we're gonna press the hand into the hot thigh into the hand. We're gonna try to engage the psoas, a muscle that's deep in your core. It's often what we feel when our lower back is tight. And then we'll extend this right foot straight forward, and if it can, we'll have that right heel resting on your mat or the ground. And then maybe left foot stays planted if we need it for stability. Maybe the left knee hugs in towards left chest. We can use the hands to catch that knee. We'll take a few breaths here. Now we're lengthening through that psoas that we just engaged. And if you realize your stack is too high or your block is too high and it's too much of a stretch, you can always lower it back down if there's too much tugging going on in there. All right, from here we'll lower the left foot onto the mat. We'll bend the right knee, replanting the right foot. And then we'll lift the left leg up, left knee towards the sky, knee and hip at a right angle. Left hand presses thigh, thigh presses hand, trying to get some engagement. Deep core now on the left side, that psoas muscle there. And then extending left leg straight forward, left heel moving towards the ground, and then maybe picking right knee up towards right armpit. And settling in a few breaths here, trying to open up left psoas. You can have a lot of asymmetry one side to the other, so if this side needs a higher or lower setting, you can adjust your block or your blankets or your towel. All right, and then we'll replant the right foot. We'll bend the left knee, planting the left foot. We'll press into the feet to lift the hips, sliding the block or blankets, towels, etc. out of the way. And then we're gonna reposition this block higher up, and I'm gonna sit up so that I can show you where I would like your block. So we're gonna have the block through the back such that your shoulder blades are just coming off above the block. So if you can see mine, they're winging just a little bit above where that block is gonna hit. So in your bridge pose, so knees bent, feet planted, finding the block. Again, we can have medium setting, or we can have low setting. Finding where your shoulder blades are, having them just spill off the top. Then we'll interlace our fingers behind our backs. We'll lift our core up so we've got a straight line, hips to the crown of the head. And on the next exhale, we'll drape the shoulders up and over the block, going just as far as is comfortable in your body. And then inhaling, pulling back up to that flat line. And exhaling, shoulders dropping up and over. Inhaling back up. Exhaling up and over. We'll take 2 more times each way, inhaling up. Exhaling back. Maybe we're getting a little deeper each time. Coming back up once more. And down once more. And if it feels okay in your body, we'll hang out here for a breath or 2. If it doesn't feel good hanging out here, you can definitely come up sooner. And then we'll lift the torso back up. We'll plant our palms and we'll use them to come up to seated. From here, we'll just slide the block out of the way and we're gonna swing over into tabletop. And our tabletop, we've got wrists under shoulders and knees under hips. We'll take a few rounds of cat-cow. So we'll inhale to lift the gaze and the tailbone. We'll exhale back around, head hangs, pressing the ground away. Inhaling, pulling the chest forward, coming back to cow. Exhaling, rounding the spine into our cat. We'll take once more, pulling into cow. Once more, pushing in to cat. And then we'll come back to our tabletop. From here, we'll lift right fingers up to the sky. We'll thread the right hand behind the left wrist. Our left shoulder will tap down. The left temple will tap down. If our hips swiveled off to the side, we're going to try to bring them back where they were originally in tabletop. And then we can bring our left palm straight forward and we'll press into that left palm to find extra length through the back body. We'll pause here for a few rounds of breath. And then bringing left hand back under left shoulder, we'll press into the left palm to come back up. Maybe giving shoulders a little wiggle. And then we'll take second side. So left fingers reaching up to the sky. And then threading behind left wrist. Left temple taps down. If your hips swiveled off to the right, like mine did, we'll slide them back to tabletop-ish. And then your right hand will come straight forward. We'll press into that right palm to try to get some extra length through the back body. Pausing here, a few rounds of breath. And then planting into the right palm, coming back up to tabletop. From here, we are going to bring our knees together, making sure toes are untucked. We're going to slide our hips back onto our heels. We can tuck our chin in. We'll let forehead rest down. If our head has a hard time touching the ground, can grab the block or blankets to slide under the head to support it. We'll bring arms by our sides, maybe even catching the heels to tug us a little bit more into a tight, tiny little ball. In our ball, we're thinking about the hips sinking heavy, our back rounding, so we've got a nice egg shape here. So we're creating a little bit of extra length through the lower back here. And then from here, we'll plant through the palms, underneath the shoulders, and we'll come up to seated, and we are going to come to standing. It doesn't matter where on your mat you're standing. You can be in the middle, the front, doesn't matter, the back. We will come with our feet hip width apart. We'll get a soft bend in the knees, and we're just going to gently fold forward. Here we can get an even bigger bend in the knees if we realize that we need it, so we can support our torso with our legs, with that knee bend. We'll let our head hang, we'll sway a little bit side to side. And then if we want to add on a little bit, we might take our thumbs and wiggle them into our hip creases. And then with those thumbs, encouraging your hips up and back a little bit, which might allow your back to release a little bit more towards the ground. So either option, thumbs in hip creases or arms by your sides, or third option, catching opposite elbows and swaying a little bit side to side. Whichever option we've chosen, try to let your head be as heavy and relaxed as possible, so the weight of it can help create a little bit of extra length in the spine. All right, and then whichever option we chose, we'll release fingers to the ground. On our next inhale, we'll press through the soles of the feet to come up with a flat back to standing. We're gonna do two more forward folds. We're adding on some eagle arms, so we'll do the eagle arms both ways for 2 folds. So we'll start with the right arm on top. So your right arm is sliding on top of left. Left thumb comes towards the face. Left fingers come towards the right palm. They may or may not reach, that's okay. From here, we'll bring the elbows forward and up, so we can feel extra expansion through the upper back. Feet at least hip width apart. Again, softening knees and ankles, and then folding forward. Again, maybe getting enough of a bend in your knees that your torso can rest on your thighs. And then we'll let gravity take the arms here. If we folded forward and we actually liked it better just standing up and reaching elbows forward and up, that is, of course, an option as well. Pause here, a few rounds of breath. And then pressing through the soles of the feet, coming back up, unraveling the arms, and giving shoulders a little wiggle. And then we'll take a second side, so left arm on top of right. Right thumb comes towards the face, right fingers catch left palm. Elbows will slide forward and up, and we might stay here, or you might soften through the knees and fold forward. And then we'll root through the feet to come up into standing. We'll unravel the shoulders. We'll give them a little bit of a shake. And we've got options here. If you have more time in your day, I would invite you to find Shavasana on your mat. And so your feet at least hip width apart, arms by your sides, the palms face up. If you do not have time for full Shavasana, I would invite you to simply close your eyes in a standing or seated position for just a moment. And just as we did at the start of class, dropping your awareness into your body, taking stock of how your body is feeling. Maybe taking stock of your mental state, not judging it, but just observing how you're feeling up there right now. And then we'll bring our awareness to our breath. And let's take 3 rounds of big full inhales and long slow exhales. One more breath. And when you're ready, if your eyes were closed, we can blink them open. Thank you for sharing your practice with me and with Zoe. We hope to see you again soon. Namaste.